So, how much money do you really need to save for the 2026 FIFA World Cup? Honestly, it depends. Dímelo, mi gente, travel football fan here. I am going to help you out with one of the biggest financial questions that you have for the 2026 World Cup. How much money do you need to save? Like I said, it really does depend on the type of World Cup that you want to have. Whether you are going to the World Cup for the first time or you are an experienced traveler of this tournament, we're going to discuss some tips, some best practices for you to maximize the amount of money that you can save for this tournament. We're going to discuss how to save money for this tournament. We're going to discuss again what are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself to determine how much money you need to save. We're going to talk about my guesstimates as to how much tickets will cost. And then finally, some other tips that you can use in order to maximize the amount of money that you could bring in to your savings account between now and the summer 2025 when tickets go on sale and when you need to start booking your travel. And then finally, when the tournament begins in 2026. All right, so let's talk about these questions that you really need to be asking yourself as we get to that magic number that we need to hit in terms of your savings for the World Cup, okay? And the first couple of questions don't even relate to tickets, to the number of games, or to the travel. It really is about your financial situation, okay? You need to be asking yourself, how much money am I bringing in every month? How much money am I spending every month? And what categories are my biggest expenditures in? Can I be saving money? Can I be cutting back on some of these expenses? Maybe you're doing too much takeout, or maybe there is a possibility for you to find a cheaper place to live. I know it's a little bit difficult right now. Trust me, I know the situation. Okay, and esta economía está tremenda, no? Pero there are ways that you could save money. The trick is for you to know where you're spending your money at because it's impossible to figure out how can I save money, how can I cut back if you don't know where you're spending your money at. Okay. Some other things, right? Maybe things that we don't really think about, but that are just as important. Do you need new gear, right? Do you need an updated jersey for the World Cup? Do you need new pieces of luggage? Do you have your passports, right? Whether that means American, Mexicano, Canadian, whichever passport. Remember, FIFA might require us to have a valid passport of the country where you're a citizen from to purchase tickets. So I would highly recommend you get your passport. Start getting those types of items out the way, and then okay, you already start figuring out. Okay, I need this much money to save to take care of these items even before I'm thinking about going to the games. Okay, once you've figured out, the initial set of questions, right, about your financial health and what are some of these preparatory things that you need to do to get ready to travel and purchase tickets and so on. Now we get to to those types of questions. Okay, let's talk about how many games you want to go to and be realistic. Okay, we're not going to be able to travel all 104 games of this World Cup. Okay, it is impossible. Okay, the geography prevents you from traveling to all 104 games, the time zones, all that. So it's impossible. So you gotta have to pick a realistic number. Maybe for you, it's very realistic. I just want to go to one game in my city. Cool. That really makes it very easy for you, right? But some of you, like myself, I want to do 16 cities, 16 matches. I want to go to each host city and see at least one World Cup match there. So, of course, the logistics and the amount of money I need to save gets a little bit more complicated there. Okay. What type of seat? Okay. Maybe you only want to go to one match. Oh, but you want to ball out in the hospitality seat. Well, that's going to cost you at least several thousands of dollars. Okay. So you need to aim to save that amount. Or maybe you're like, look, just get me in the stadium and the gallinero and the nose, please. Just get me in the game, whatever. Okay. You might not need to spend as much money as originally thought. Well, now that we've figured out which seats you want to get, well, you need to also save money for things like souvenirs because you're going to want a souvenir. Trust me on that one, okay? Food. Look, man, you can say, hey, my mom is cooking at home, or, my partner will cook the meal before we all go to the game. But what if you have kids, right? Kids are going to be hungry. They're going to be, thirsty. We're going to be playing in the summer of 2026. Va a estar siendo un tremendo calor, and you're going to at least want some water. So you need to make sure that you save at least a couple $100 for game day expenses. Also, how are you going to get to the stadium from perhaps your hotel or from your home? That's an Uber ride at the least, or maybe in some cities, public transportation will be available for you. So start adding all those expenses, the a cien, a cien, a cien, and you realize, I'm gonna need at least $500, maybe. Again, depending on who you are, depending whether you're going with friends, with family, if you got little ones, if you got teenagers, lo que sea. Those are the types of questions you need to start figuring out right now, and that will help you get to your magic number. Of course, the biggest expense you're going to have for the World Cup is your travel. Okay. If you're traveling outside your home city, automatically you're going to have to at least think about $400, $500 for your flights, potentially round trip right there. And then at least 200, 300, maybe even $400 a night for your hotels. Okay. It's going to be basically impossible for me to tell you how much tickets are going to be for hotels, for car rentals, train rides, todo eso. No, it's impossible. Okay. But expect these companies to jack up the prices a little bit because they're not allowed to price gouge, at least the Justice Department of the United States and El Ministro de Justicia de Mexico and the same Department of Justice for Canada have said they will go after companies if they're caught price gouging. Pero, en serio, mi gente, yo creo que estas compañías, these companies are going to increase the prices just enough so that way they can make more money off of us. So, keep that in mind. Start tracking, okay, how much is summer travel costing people right now? Okay, boom. You might want to save double that amount, right? And so, say if a flight, to from your city to say Seattle costs like $500 round trip for one person, expect to pay $1,000 per person round trip. Okay, that's just if if it doesn't cost that much, great, right? Better for you. You get more money in your pocket, but just anticipate the prices to be an increased amount because again, you're competing against millions more fans coming to see their team play in this World Cup that is now expanded to 48 teams. Okay, so now you have your numbers. You now are ready to save money. But where do you save money? In a high yield savings account. Do not save your money in a regular savings account that is offered by the brick and mortar banks. Okay, basically the banks where you can go, to the corner and do your thing, right? Do your financial things. Okay, don't use those. Use a high yield savings account, mostly from online banking companies that will provide you a higher annual percentage yield on your savings. Why is that important? Because that means that you're getting paid more to save money from these high yield savings accounts than those banks at the corner. Okay, so let's take a look at this high yield savings account calculator provided by nerdwallet.com. I really highly recommend you use this website along with other websites like bankrate.com, investopedia.com in order for you to do your financial research. Okay, I do not want you folks to just look at me as a person that's just going to recommend you, oh, yeah, sign up for this account, get this credit card, and that's it. No, ya, ustedes no hacen nada of your own research. No. I want to empower you to do your own financial literacy homework. I know no one likes to do that homework, but así es la cosa, okay? That way you know how to best pick the financial products and services that work for you. All right, let's check out this calculator right here, okay? So let's say you have $1,000 to put into your high yield savings account. You save $100 every month moving forward. You let that money grow for a year and you place it in a high yield savings account that is offering 4.6% annual interest. What is going to be your amount? No, it's not going to be $4,000 here. It's going to be $2,272.61. And you can see here that you would have gained a total principal of $2,200 and the interest you earned was $72.61. Meaning, without you doing any type of work, you earned $72.61, pues ahí mismo, right? Passive income. Now, you might be saying to yourself, wow, Danny, wow, travel football fan, $72? That ain't going to help me out with tickets. How come I just don't save it at a regular bank account? Well, let's put that percentage amount. They usually offer you it's not even 0.0, not even 0.1, but 0.01. Okay, 1% interest. Yeah, you're only going to get 16 cents of total interest on your savings account. That is why it is very powerful for you to use these high yield savings accounts because of the amount of interest they offer for your savings. Okay. Now, say if you were to increase your monthly contributions to $200 a month. Okay. Bingo. Wepa. Look at the amount of extra money you're saving right here, right? The whole strategy here is okay, and there's actually two ways to do this. Okay. You can either save a whole bunch of money at the beginning. Okay. So say you're going to start with $5,000, right? And then you're just going to contribute $100 every month moving forward. Okay, pues this is how much money you can expect to save in the next year, right? Or if you want to do it the other way, where you start with, say, $1,000 and then you decide to contribute $500 a month, well, then this is how you can expect to earn in terms of both interest and the amount of money you had saved. The point is this: there are multiple ways to save money, okay? But you have to commit to saving money. You just have to, okay? It's not for you to, save for a couple months and then you take the money out unless you really have to, right? Unless you're looking to go to a different soccer game. Fine. I've had to do that myself for transparency's sake. Okay, I've been able to save up to $3,000 and it goes back down to maybe $2,000, and going up and down. But the whole point is you want that savings account to increase over time. Okay, it's not always going to look as straightforward as a straight line, right? Maybe some months you're only able to contribute $100. Maybe other months you could contribute $600, right? Maybe you got a bonus. The point is, depending on how you're saving money, the important thing is save that money in a high yield savings account, so that way it takes advantage of the power of the compound interest. You earn that passive income via the interest, and it just makes your savings life a heck of a lot easier for the World Cup. Cool. So I've asked myself those questions you told me to ask myself. I looked at the high yield savings accounts that are available for me, and I'm going to go sign up for one. I still don't know how much tickets are going to be. Well, lucky for you, I've created a spreadsheet in which I give more or less a guesstimate of how much those tickets will definitely be. Okay, so here is the spreadsheet that I created with my predictions of how much the tickets for the 2026 World Cup will cost. Now, again, this is purely guesstimate. Please feel free to criticize my math in the comments, okay? But this is how I got there. I calculated these prices by using the September 2023 inflation rate of 3.7% to the 2022 World Cup ticket prices, and then use that same number until 2026. Of course, the rate of inflation can increase or hopefully decrease, which will affect the ticket prices. Okay. But I kept that number, and I know I did this back in September 2023, in order to give us an understanding of how much tickets could be in terms of the high point and hopefully potentially on the lower end. So I did include the prices of the tickets to the Qatar World Cup as well in Qatari Riyals over here on the left. And then here are my predicted prices on the right in the yellow column. As you can see, for the opening match, I do predict these tickets will be kind of expensive in the first three categories, which is 1, 2, and 3. Of course, for category 4, it drops down significantly. This is probably going to be reserved for Mexican nationals, right? For those that can prove their Mexican citizenship, which is why I really do think you need to get a passport, because that's how they're going to prove it. And then, of course, for accessibility tickets, those are also going to be at a lower price. We go further down to the group stage. This is how much I expect the tickets to be, which, I mean, if you think about it, at least for the Copa America, this was around the price range for some of the tickets. Granted, this is going to be hopefully the maximum amount for category 1, which I know that for Copa America, they can easily have been double the price in many instances. So again, just keep that in mind, right? And then as we go further into the tournament, round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then into the final, third place match final, you see that for the final, okay, it doesn't seem as bad, right? At least for us American consumers, we're used to the Super Bowl tickets being 50, 60, 70, $80,000. I mean, hell, even more than that. Okay. For a category 1 World Cup final ticket to only be $5,000, that's a heck of a steal. And I would totally agree with that assessment. So if you want to have this spreadsheet, okay, and also included in the spreadsheet is my what is this? My budget spreadsheet, in which you get to purchase off of my Etsy account. You can have that more information in the link in my bio of either my Instagram or TikTok. But this is a budget that I do sell, a budget spreadsheet that I sell in order to help you organize your finances. And I do include the ticket price spreadsheet here as well. All right, mi gente, let's wrap up this video with some additional tips for you to help you save money for the World Cup, okay? Side hustles. You're gonna have to pick one up, okay? Trust me, I have one, okay? It's coaching soccer. And you know what? If we keep it in this whole soccer world, us coaches and us youth leagues, we need refs. I know the parents can be harsh at times. Heck, even some of the coaches can be harsh at times. But if you could suck it up and be a referee for these youth leagues, hey, they pay kind of good. So I'm just saying. Or go sign up to be a coach of a youth team. And if you're really serious about coaching, that's another great way to get extra money for the World Cup. Pay off your debts, okay? Say you have student loan debts, try to pay it off as soon as possible. Car loans, pay it off as much as possible. If you have credit card debt that's like almost like you can't overcome it, one good tip is to move that balance into a credit card that offers either a very significantly lower interest rate, like 6%, 9% compared to 26, 27, or ideally into a credit card. And again, you can look this up at nerdwallet.com or some of these other websites that offer an introductory 0% interest rate for like the first 12 months and 18 months when you balance transfer an amount from another bank to that credit card. Look into those because that can give you the breathing room that you need in order to tackle that debt. Do a garage sale. I know we're thinking like kind of like, yo, we are dismantling everything possible in order to sell it, right? Yes. Okay, if you got clothes that you no longer fit into, or for you just got extra game boards, or lo que sea, look around your house. Can I sell some stuff off in a garage sale? Make myself the first $100 or $200 that I can put in a high yield savings account. Do what you got to do, fam. That's how we're gonna do this. Don't buy into crypto. Don't buy into del tío's next business plan idea. No, don't undertake risky investment plans. Stick to the basics, and that's how we're gonna build our way to having the money for the World Cup. And then finally, look, I know that we got the Mundial de Clubes coming up 2025 in the summer. The Gold Cup 2025 in the summer. Don't overspend, okay? I'm not saying don't go to a game. Carajo, you might be a fan of one of these clubs. You might, if for my Mexicanos out there, I know you probably want to go support El Tri, but be mindful. Be mindful of how much money you're spending, because the tickets for the 2026 World Cup, I predict, and in one of my videos, which you could go ahead and check it out as well, I predict they're going to go on sale late July, early August of 2025. The last thing you want to be doing is spending $600 on tickets for the Gold Cup when you need that money for the World Cup. Okay, mi gente, that will do for today's video. Thank you so much for supporting my work. Again, if you haven't yet, please make sure to subscribe. Click on that bell button so that way you are notified when new videos come out. If you don't follow me on Instagram or TikTok, or ideally both, go ahead and do so. That's how you'll be able to catch my daily videos on the latest news for the World Cup, for the Mundial de Clubes, for Copa Oro, La Copa América que viene in just a couple of days. Follow me there as well. And please leave your comments. Let me know if you're liking my content. Let me know what's working, what's not working. But also feel free to suggest other topics that you want me to cover for the 2026 World Cup, okay? That's what I'm here for. I'm going to be creating videos as we go along, getting ready 2 years from now, from the start of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Ahí nos vemos, mi gente. Muchas gracias por su tiempo. Dale.